spiritual schizophrenia. Let me tell you a story. When I was a little boy, about 4, I was helping my mommy hang clothes out on our clothesline. It was a cold day in New York, and my mother was having somebody over for coffee. She heard me at the window, a little Fred. I haven't grown up much, let's see. I didn't need this mic, it's performance theology, I don't use AV material. I'm looking over them and I'm trying to hang things out on the line, and police squeaking. And of course, it's on the second floor and it's concrete, I could have killed myself. So I just, oh my God. Oh, she grabs me and she sends me into my room. I had no windows. It was all dark. Please come as well. I was waiting for light. It was always that one little air shaft window we were never allowed to open. We thought the neighbors had bed bugs. So there I was in this dark room. And I got angry at my mother. I was trying to help her by hanging out the wash. I was a good little boy. You know, I should never marry that woman, though. She thought I would continue to do that, and I refused to do it. But that's another story. Anyway. So here I had 45 minutes of punishment. I could hear my mother laughing, having fun with a friend, and all these stuff, and the like. And I got angrier, and angrier, and angrier. I was going to have a temper tantrum that really would do me a proud, you know? And right on the dresser, this magnificent piggy bank that my Aunt Millie had brought back from Brazil. It was multicolored and it was gigantic. Hand-carved and painted over clay. I loved this piggy bank. I loved it more than life itself. But and when my mother came to the sun, I wasn't living. And I rushed out into the kitchen with the piggy bank in hand, and I smashed it to 1,000 million trillion pieces. And all the pennies went all over the place. Tears and my mother held me. The one thing my mother could not do was give me back. It was gone. I had destroyed it. Imagine that being myself. Imagine the great gift of myself to myself that God has given us, that we literally destroy like that. The only thing God cannot do, because we're free, created. That's why love is always freedom. The only thing you cannot do is force someone to love you. It's simply to be loved. The only thing you can do if you do love somebody is pray, hope, do everything humanly possible. But you cannot take this other freedom away. Because they're on a path of self-destruction. Even to God. Hell is all of our own making and our own doing. And what causes us pain in hell is precisely that God and everyone else continues to love us. As Kierkegaard, the Danish philosopher of the 19th century, said, when we are really in a bad mood, even the face of our best friend coming toward us causes us pain. I've had days like that, I bet you have. They're smiling at us. Can't take even the sunshine. It's trapped. One other final word. Christina? Purgatory. We're going to get to this. Catholics, unfortunately, think that they're the only ones that have to believe in purgatory. And most of us think, you know, it's like a 5 to 10 in San Quentin, but it's a bum laugh. I don't know. You know, there are only Catholics there. You know, it's the old joke about everyone's up in heaven having a good time. There's the big tall wall, and they hear noises behind it. This is an all-purpose joke. You can Baptist morons, anybody. One says to the other, what's going on behind the wall? Oh, those are the Catholics. They think they're the only ones here. Oh, those are the Mormons. They think they're the only ones here. It's a great old joke. You've heard it many times. Let me say a word about purgatory. It's not like hell in heaven, just like hell in heaven. Not some special place of joy or pain that God has made for us. It is something built into the human condition tradition that at that moment when we die, whatever is unworthy of us, unworthy of our true beings, unworthy of ourselves as God's image, must be pushed aside, purged away. Every bit of selfishness left in us must be pushed aside. Purgatory then might be seen this way, as something that happens at the moment of death, not after and not before, but the pain of parting with all those things that we thought were so important. What classical theology called the reliquia peccati, the remains of sin, that residue of the soul. And let me give you an analogy, and it's a very poor analogy. If you've had a fight with your boyfriend, girlfriend, spouse, parents, roommate, anybody, on Friday, say, and you feel terrible. By Saturday, oh, John, why did I say that? I feel so awful. You're in tears. I called this person, and I hope he or she will forgive me. But then you say, well, but they were wrong too. Think of the anguish you go through that weekend, waiting Monday morning when you go back to your office or go back home or wherever, and have to confront that person who looks at you and accepts you. Say, I'm sorry. That pains you. Imagine doing that with God for a whole lifetime, who has always loved us perfectly, who has always waited for us like a father. So purgatory can be seen not as some place between heaven and hell, but natural purgation of everything unworthy of the divine in us. At the moment that we die. And as long as I'm at this point, let me say one other thing. Catholics have always believed in praying for the dead. And I think that's a good thing. But not in the way that we did in the late Middle Ages and during the Renaissance, where we quantified prayers, where we had masses said and so forth and so on. Because if I pray for someone who has died, March 30th, my fiancé will have been dead 19 years. This coming March. And I pray for every day. When I pray for somebody whom I love who has died, it's not as if I'm praying for somebody languishing around in purgatory saying, so hurry up, the prayers are ready, let's get with it. That's like a far side cartoon. I'm praying for her or for anyone who died. When, at the moment that they died, I am with you, and I'm always with you. By the way, if someone says, oh, did you pray for me the other day? I had this major surgery. Oh, yes, I did. You forgot. Go and pray for them. It still counts. It's very serious. Because the clock on God's wall always is the same time. It's always now. And eternity must be understood not as some endless amount of time after time. That'd be kind of ridiculous. It's just more time. Nor can it be understood as timelessness, because if it were completely without temporality at some level, then we wouldn't recognize it. All we know is temporality. Would be foreign to us. Eternity, and here's one definition I'll suggest to you, might be understood as the unity of all the consecutive moments of time now. We cannot have that now, because as soon as I have it for this minute, another minute, yes, another moment has gone by. And imagine when I'm not just in space and time in the way that I am now, and I can have presence that does not end. I have eternal life. Jesus promised us eternal life. Jesus never went around saying, by the way, don't worry, your soul's immortal, you're going to get the hell out of here. Never the word immortality of the soul. It's a Greek idea, it's a nice way of explaining what happens after death, but it's a philosophical notion.